You mentioned Bobby Heenan bottom slap. Would you like to delve into that?
No, I wouldn't like to delve into anybody's bottom, Anthony. No. Bobby Heenan touched Rick Rude. You remind me of Rick Rude, and also,
you remind me of a bushwhacker. Congratulations.
Well, that's fine. I like that. I am a bushwhacker. I will whack all the bushes.
Oh no, man! You're licking my forehead. You're licking my salty forehead. You're carrying on. What you're mental. That's good, man. My turn. Hello and welcome to the Gimme a Whole Year podcast. I'm Ant.
Who am I? Dom.
You are Dom. Today you are Dom.
And you're Ant.
And I'm Ant.
We're Dom and Ant.
Dom and Ant.
That was originally what we were going to call this.
I think we have explained that before.
Have we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to explain it again because some people might be watching this for the first time. Do you ever think about that?
I don't think about that.
Well, there you go. Maybe you should think about that shit.
Maybe I should think about it.
Well, yeah, we were originally going to be called the Dom and Ant podcast, but not. We're called Gimme a Whole Year. That's Ant. I'm Dom, and what we're doing today? I just busted up the mic. I was like, poof, knocking out the mic.
Today we're looking at the Royal Rumble from 1993. So that was January the 15th at the Summit in Houston, Texas.
It's in 1993.
1993. I did say 1993. I meant 1989. Apparently my notes are just all over the place today.
Excellent. Yeah, you are.
Great start.
Amph is ill, guys. He might vom.
Forgive any of the sniffles
he might
and
vom
stuff.
Or snot.
We're
all
going
over
into
me,
winter. Winter is coming.
Or you. Winter is coming.
Winter is
like
coming.
Freaking September or some shit.
I know, man. Yeah, it's not very nice outside.
What's happened to 2017, guys? What's happened?
It has flown by, yeah. It has flown by.
You've flown by.
So, at the start of the show, we had a really nice promo, actually, showing all the participants for the Royal Rumble.
Some good ones. I quite liked it.
Throughout the show, there was some good promos. It was nice.
There's no time for that these days, but I quite like them going through all of the guys that are in the Rumble being
Absolutely.
like, I'm going to win it. It's going to be great.
Well, now we get a lot more surprises, but back then it was more, these are the guys that are appearing in the Rumble, and it was more about what number they drew as opposed to who was going to be in it, I suppose. So on commentary we had Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura, always doing a great job. The first match was 2 out of 3 falls match, which was the Hart Foundation with Jim Duggan versus the Fabulous Rougeaus with Dino Bravo.
I think that's the first time we've got the Fabulous Rougeaus right.
It probably is, and Duggan as well.
With respect to both teams, we've been calling them all kinds of things. So the Fabulous Rougeaus.
So Duggan was going from sort of team to team with his American gimmick. Yay!
With his
2x4. There was a couple of foam 2x4s in the crowd as well. Yeah. I quite want one of them.
I know, I was thinking that. Should we get some for the podcast?
That'd be great, man.
Oh!
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. I love it when he does that.
By now we can see that the Hart Foundation are definitely solid faces, coming into crowd chants of USA, which is ironic because they were from Canada. Mm-hmm. But obviously Duggan was on the side, so
don't matter. You kind of gloss over that stuff, don't you? When you've got a patriotic American dude with a 2x4.
That's it.
2x4.
That's it.
Probably mess you up with his 2x4.
And he got involved in this match. So Bravo and Anvil start in the ring and show that Dino is too strong to be knocked down by Anvil's shoulder barge. I thought that was a nice little story. That someone's there, because Anvil would normally come in and destroy people with that shoulder tackle, and from the start of the match he established he couldn't just use that on Dino, which was nice. But then he eventually got him with a big clothesline, knocked Dino down for a little bit. Nice opening.
Beast, wasn't he?
He was. I really like Jim at the Anvil.
That's a good one. You know, me and Amph were talking about the slight side note. You know, who's the best member of a tag team at a certain point? You know, like you got your Bubba Ray and your Devon and your Jeff and your Matt Hardy. What about Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart?
Ooh,
like at this time,
I think Anvil was always sold as the Force, and Brett was more of the person that'd be in the ring that was looking for the hot tag.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Jim at this point.
Interesting. Just an interesting side note, because I thought that. I think that at this point that Jim is actually, just like with the Rockers, I think Jannetty right now
was the stronger Rocker,
the strongest. Interesting. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, it's good. That's all right, man. So the first team get all three heels into the same corner and start tackling them into the corner. It was a nice moment, actually, for a six-man tag to actually have them attacking all three people in the corner at once with sort of all of them working on it. I enjoyed that. The Rougeaus with a double team move with Bret Hart on top of one of the shoulders whilst the other attacks from the top ropes. So that was the Rougeaus finisher, wasn't it? Looked really great, and that led to the first fall of the night because this was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Mm-hmm. So the heels are up 1-0. The Rougeaus and Dino beat on Bret Hart for a while, and I suppose that's what I was saying when I said that Bret was the one that would get the punishment, and then it'd be up to Jim, or in this case Duggan as well. But I thought that with this, there was quite a few rest holds, which always slows down the pace of a match, and I don't think Bret needed the pace to be that slow. Bret drags one of the Rougeau brothers onto his corner whilst in a Boston Crab, which looked really awkward. You sort of saw the Rougeau sort of jumping up to give Bret the ability to get the movement. Obviously, a difficult position to be in, I suppose. Yeah. And then obviously the ref didn't see the tag, so the hot tag wasn't made at this point. Jimmy Hart was very vocal on his microphone tonight. Enjoyed that. Always enjoyed Jimmy Hart with his microphone.
With his megaphone.
Megaphone, sorry. Yeah.
So I wasn't being a dick and correcting you, but it's very loud, isn't it? It's very loud and in your face, and that was very much Jimmy Hart all over.
Absolutely, as loud as his outfits.
Indeed.
So Bret got the hot tag onto Hacksaw Jim Duggan eventually, and the crowd went wild. Hacksaw catapults each of the Hart Foundation from the April onto one of the Rougeau brothers. Couldn't tell which one it was, but it was very difficult to tell them apart. Although one had a mustache and one didn't, so I don't know why I couldn't. I always struggled. They're all the same thing, they look the same. And then he dropped the elbow for the 3 count, so that's the second fall out of the 2 out of 3 falls count. One thing I'd like to notice about this match is I thought that the referee did a lot of really good work. There was a lot of moments where he wasn't supposed to be looking at the action because the heels were, teaming up against it. Sometimes when that happens with a referee, you can sort of see them looking over the shoulder and sort of making sure that the spot's happening. This ref didn't. He was really confident as to where the spots was, which I think give credit for stuff like that.
I think referees all round in this business, referees need more recognition for the work that they do. It's a tough job, and you got to fly around the ring just like the superstars a lot of the time.
Yeah, and for it to be as tight as it was, I just thought it was really impressive.
And the referees are the ones that to this day guide the matches for a lot of the people. You know what I mean? So, While there's a certain degree of planning live, the referees are kind of there to hold it together,
Yeah,
like the master of ceremonies or something like that.
And these days probably getting shouted at by Vince in the rear.
Indeed.
Every so often. So the end of the match has Hacksaw hitting Dino in the back of the head with a 2 before when the ref's back is turned. Not a heel move, obviously, it's a face move. He's allowed to do it. This is Jim Duggan. And then Bret gets the final pin. Pretty good match.
Yeah, I think as much as we're saying about Anvil being a sort of a big force in that team at the time, I think you can really, really tell. Like with Shawn Michaels in the Rockers, actually, you can tell. Especially with the female fans and stuff like that. We've talked about Bret Hart's emergence.
He was getting a lot of fan mail.
Ongoing emergence, but you could see the reaction. He was definitely Bret Hart was definitely poised for a big. For something big at this time.
Which happened.
Indeed, it did.
Did you know that happened?
I'm amused.
It wasn't Jim the Anvil in the Montreal screw drop.
Indeed. Oh no. Oh dear. My whole world has been just busted, blown open.
So then we go to a little bit of a promo segment again. So we go to the draw of the numbers. Ted DiBiase was up first.
So this was really funny.
It was, really good.
DiBiase was like, it's slick. It was like he was trying to buy a better number. That was really funny.
Yeah, so he didn't get the number that he wanted, clearly. And then it's a case of the commentators and the interviewers, well, are you cheating here by buying a different number? And it's none of your business type thing. Enjoyed that. A little storyline the whole way through. It adds a little bit to the match, doesn't it? And in the Rumble, DiBiase comes out in a very good position. Yeah. Next up, we see Honky Tonk, Butch and Luke, Bad News Brown, Jake the Snake, all picking out the numbers. The Rockers picked out the numbers with the perms. They were looking exceptionally permy.
Yeah, and they were like, good luck, brother, and everything. It was good. It was nice. Buzzing.
Yeah, it's good.
Buzzing for Michaels and Janae.
Then we went on to a women's match. So we had a Rocking Robbing Rockin' Robin versus Judy Martin.
Yeah, Judy Martin. Yes, yeah. I quite, the best bit about this was Sensational Sherry at the beginning.
Yeah, Sensational Sherry at the beginning of the match is in the ring.
Like, you know, she had this kind of, you know, Charlotte-esque vibe about, you know, obviously to relate it to modern day fans. She was very confident. She didn't have the same in-ring ability, mind, but
no.
She was very confident and very, very good at being a heel.
Very good.
Obviously, she had a great history of being a heel manager, and she was in the ring quite a few times as well. Did some stellar work, but
especially early on. But her later work as a manager, I think, is more what she's known for.
Yeah, Sensational Show was the best bit about the match for me, and her commentary was also.
The commentary was the best thing about the match. So there was a lot of headlock takedowns, a lot of kicks and punches, not a lot of real action. And I said to you as we was watching it, I didn't feel like they were selling any of the moves that were happening to them. It just sort of happened, and then they'd take the turns in going for the offensive. Excuse me.
It's all right. This is real life.
This is real life.
This is live.
This is live. So yeah, it was more about Sherry building up the next match for Robin, basically, because Robin had won the title off Sherry at a match in France, and they keep mentioning that. The win with the crossbody.
That crossbody, man. I mean, back then, I suppose it was considered a high-flying move, but, like, are you moving the mic closer?
I'm moving the mic a little closer.
This is for your benefit. This is for your benefit. You want to hear my beautiful northern dialect.
It's for my benefit, so I don't have to play around as much in editing.
Yeah, because he does all the work, and I just stay here looking pretty.
You're just a pretty boy.
I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy.
Crossbody, Rockin' Robin, walks away with the... You can carry on singing if you want.
No, you know. We've got a job to do.
We'll carry on then.
You carry on.
Rockin' Robin walks away with a tiny belt. God, that women's title belt was tiny, wasn't it?
Tiny belt.
Tiny belt. Looked like a little coin on a belt. Next up, there was a shot, actually. It was a really nice little shot. I wonder how set up it was. But there was two kids playing with the little action figures. One was a Jesse Ventura action figure, one was a Macho Man, and the Jesse Ventura action figure was pinning the Macho Man action figure. And obviously Jesse, straight away in commentary, is saying how good that is. Then we see a couple more promos. We see Big Boss Man and Akeem, who were the Twin Towers by this point, well established as the big heel force in the WWF. With Slick, neither of us really like Slick as a manager, do we? No.
We do not.
No. And then he was claiming to the interviewer that he knew nothing about the bias with Ted DiBiase wanting to change numbers and stuff like that, and tells the interviewer to keep his nose out of this business. Yeah, fair enough. It's a nice little storyline going into the Rumble. Mean Gene was in the ring, announces the Super Pose Down match, and explains it'll be the people's choice. So that whoever gets the loudest reception wins the match. What did you think about this whole segment, Dom?
You know what? It was kind of silly. I mean, the oiling up of Rick Rude, and it was good for the face heel dynamic. Warrior did his whole raw thing that he does, and everyone was blatantly behind the Warrior. But I don't know, it was kind of stupid. You made a comment that it was probably just to get Warrior out of actually having to do a match.
Maybe so.
I mean, interesting.
I don't think Warrior was the greatest wrestler, and I think something like this actually probably works better for Rude with his character. But people seem to like it. I think the segment went on a bit too long for a pay-per-view, I will say that.
Have they done something similar since? I feel like Triple H was involved in something in the last sort of 15 to 20 years similar to this, or 10 years maybe. Can someone find out, was Triple H ever oiled up in a posing contest? I'm sure possibly. Someone's done it in the last 10 years, maybe Chris Masters or somebody ridiculous like that. Anyway, I thought it was silly, Anthony. I thought that it was, like I say, very much like you said, good for Rick Rude.
Certainly better for Rick Rude than it was for Warrior.
Yeah, but pointless for the Warrior. The Warrior was going to win anyway because it was fan voted. You know what I mean? It's simple.
Yeah. I mean, so the post-down match was between Rick Rude and Warrior. Warrior was so pumped he probably had steroids like popping out of his veins. I'd say. I think both of them probably were high on steroids. Would I get that pumped? Or if I had steroids?
No, I mean in general, would you be pumped? Would you get oiled up?
I'd struggle to find the energy, if I'm honest with you,
Yeah.
to go out there and just pose.
And
So I think they did an okay job at it. Bobby Heenan wanted someone to control the Warrior, showing how out of control the Warrior was in the ring. Who had the better body in your opinion, Dom?
Warrior, man. It depends. I mean, it depends if you like a more traditional physique, which
I like a traditional man.
Some people do. I would have gone for a more Rick Rude, because Rick Rude was muscly, but he wasn't over the top muscly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a Warrior was like, I spend all my time at the gym.
Taking roids.
I eat 20 raw eggs a day and take some steroids. But then does The Rock take steroids? The Rock has a similar body to that now. The Rock probably doesn't take steroids.
Not as much as Ultimate Warrior.
The Rock is a wholesome, lovely, lovely man. Wouldn't it be great if The Rock watched our podcast?
That'd be great. I'd also like it if The Rock became president, because I'm going to win a lot of money.
Yeah, Rock, if you just happen to be watching this, we love you. We love you. And
The Rock was great, man.
And your beautiful, beautiful body.
So 4 rounds of posing. You mentioned Bobby Heenan bottom slap. Would you like to delve into that?
Oh no, I wouldn't like to delve into anybody's bottom, Anthony. No.
You enjoyed that though, right?
I did. Yeah, it was very homoerotic, the whole thing. He was Bobby Heenan was like oiling him up. It's great, and I thought, obviously Rude was there, just enjoying getting oiled up, and then Heenan gave him a nice little. How sometimes I've given you a bit of a bottom slap.
I don't recall any bottom slaps that you've given me.
Well, there'll be more now. There'll be more now.
From this point forth, I'm going to get my bottom slap.
As a sign of encouragement, a little tap. A little tap.
I don't know if that's a sign of encouragement
that's what it was.
Or heavy flirtation.
No, that's what it was. It was just like a pat on the back, a pat on the bum.
A pat on the bum. Yeah. I thought Rude's moustache looked amazing. Yeah, I will say that.
I don't know. I hate
that. Was a hell of a moustache.
You would look boss with him. I keep looking at you. I keep just looking at you, just thinking. Because Anthony has a lot of kin with, in case you have noticed it, with Rick Rude. You'll see a lot of the poses that he does in general life are very Rick Rude-esque.
Really?
And
I just walk around.
I've been sitting there looking at you.
Driving my hips.
I've been sitting there, just podcast. People will know. Hopefully, nobody picked up on it. And I'm sitting there looking, just kind of transforming you into Rick Rude. Like I'm looking at your hair.
You are
such
a sweat hog, man. You are such a sweat hog.
I'm looking at your beard, and I'm thinking, what would you look good with, like a moustache and maybe like a perm or whatever. What was it? What's he have?
A perm, man. Yeah, it's such a perm.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there, just looking at you, just transforming you into imagining that you are in fact Rick Rude.
Great. Well,
the East Yorkshire
Rick Rude. Okay, I don't see it, but
it's possible. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. So Heenan ends up at the end of the 4th round squirting Rude in the face, squirting Warrior in the face with some water. It was definitely just water. There was no bum slap to follow.
There was no. I mean, it was after one of the poses. It gives him a little no, not a squeeze. It was a little.
He squirt. No, I'm not on about the. Oh. No, he squirts Warrior with water. And that's like the end, and then Rude attacks him with the metal bar, and it's all.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a pose off?
I think we should.
Do you want to have a pose off right now?
You always make me really uncomfortable on the podcast, making me do shit I don't want to do. But you know what? Since I've been imagining you as Rick Rude this whole time, I'd like to see you try it. I'd like to see you do it. How are we going to make that happen?
Well, I'll put some music on. We'll get the monkeys in the production truck to play some music.
The monkeys in the production truck.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Well, you've got to take your shirt off if we're having a pose off.
This is so weird.
I know, right? We're just sat in our own in a flat, getting semi-naked.
The studio, Anthony. The studio.
You can't get his head out. You want to see what a real man looks like?
Go on then. Am I a sweat hog?
That's a real man.
Right, so what poses are we going to do?
I don't know, man. Let me put some music
Let's do,
on.
What does Rude do? He does the...
I hope you can hear that. Right, you can go first if you want.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do these at the bicep. These are my... What the hell are these? Bicep.
That's good, man. My turn. all I can smell is like sweaty man bodies right now. That's good, man. So let us know in the comments below. Let's stop this crap.
We're gonna have a wonderful new following of different types of people after this, I guarantee you.
Probably, man.
We're gonna spend the rest of our time with a shirt off, you know.
I think through the magic of editing, the shirts are gonna go back on.
I'm ready. I'm body confident. I'm ready to. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's sit the whole thing out with our nipples out. Let's just do this.
I've got like inverted nipples.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon YouTube will censor us?
No, this is only partial nudity.
All right, okay.
I might do it.
How do you know I'm not bollock naked? Well, you do.
I know whether you're bollock naked or not.
They don't. So right, okay. Let's do this whole thing in the spirit of, you know, we'll call it a dedication to the mastery of Rick Rude's mustache.
You can. I'm still putting my top back on, but I won the body off, by the way.
Who says?
The comment section.
No,
said,
well, we need to.
If you look in the future,
guys, no, like let's because we're both not particularly, you know, in general life. It's not like we get our, you know, our bodies out for lots of people. So, what do you guys think? You know, who wins?
What do you guys think?
No, what do you know? What does everybody think? You know, who should win the body off? let's put our shirts back on.
Shirts are going back on, baby.
Back on. I feel like we should have done more types of poses.
Do you?
Yeah.
You can carry on if you want. Yeah, I think we probably have the thumbnail by now. So then we go into a few promos while you're putting your shirt on.
Yeah, I'm feeling really sweaty and gross.
Yeah, I know, man. There's a massive smell of man sweat around here. It's very sexy.
I wish you could all be here to experience that.
So then we have Fuji, who talks about the powers of pain, and going for demolition in the Royal Rumble, because we've got
panicking in case I got my shirt the wrong way around.
Oh yeah, if you want a shirt to cover up your manly body, go to Patreon.
Yeah, totally. You can, you know, just or message us, you know, and give us some money.
Give us a shout, yeah.
We'll send you some shirts.
So Fuji was talking about the powers of pain and how they were going to go for demolition in the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
A little bit weird that we never actually see them together in the Rumble, because there was a big build-up for that, and I was quite excited for that. One of the nice things about this Rumble is you had a lot of storylines going into it, and unfortunately that's one that didn't play out in the Rumble. Sad.
Yeah, and Fuji's like, I'm going to win. I'm the winner. I am the overall winner. I win because I think it's because of his teams and how many people he had that he represented in the Rumble. But it was a weird one. He was like, I will take everything.
Yeah.
And his teams just sat there laughing with him, and it's like, well no.
And one of his team ends up eliminated in like 2 seconds or something.
Indeed.
And then we had an Elizabeth interview. Now this was again quite interesting. And she's beautiful,
lovely,
wasn't she?
Lovely,
beautiful
lady. Yes.
She'd appreciate me as a real man.
Yeah, you know what? You have a bit of a you do actually have a bit of a savage edge.
Savage edge.
A savage edge.
Maybe if I took my hair down.
You look more like Randy Savage than you do like Rick Rude. To be fair.
You're saying I look like all these 80s wrestlers now?
Well, it's because of the beard and the.
I'm trying to think. You look like more like Lita.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'd take that. Yeah.
Dude, that sounds so weird. I'll take that. We're not pervs. We're not. Just because we get our chests out on the podcast and talk about, you know, man sweat and sweat hogs and how what a lovely charming lady Miss Elizabeth is, and how I look like Lita, which is I take as a massive compliment, Amy Dumas. If you're watching this, you know, I'd love to look like Lita. You know.
So would I. So yeah, the Elizabeth interview was all about who should be rooting for. Was it going to be Hogan or was it going to be Savage? Which, again, massive storyline in this Rumble. Massive storyline.
Just really well. I mean, to be fair, if Randy Savage was my boyfriend / husband or whatever the hell the relationship was at this point, I'd definitely have said Macho Man. Like, absolutely. I mean, you could see why Savage would be pissed off, because obviously it's like, well, hang on, we're in a relationship. I think they are in a relationship at this point. I don't actually know.
Yes, yeah, they are. They were married in real life.
Well, there you
go.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what that's like? Can you imagine what that's like?
Yeah, but I mean, it's all kayfabe, and they get married like a few years later at SummerSlam in kayfabe terms. But yeah, I mean, she did such a good job of selling that and not doing it over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we had Jimmy Hart talking about rooting for Honky and Greg, who he was representing in the Royal Rumble. They'd eventually become a tag team, wouldn't they? Which was it the Rhythm and Blues?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes, the Rhythm and Blues.
Yeah, when they couldn't think about else to give Hammer.
Indeed.
Basically. So the next match, we'll do this one quickly because it was a really crap match. It was a King versus King match. So
King Haku versus former King Race. I actually thought it wasn't bad. It was a technical match with no real exciting twists or turns.
I just thought it was slow. I mean, you had Bobby Manager.
It was a standard match.
You had Bobby Heenan, sorry, not Bobby Manager. Bobby Heenan as the manager.
Yeah.
And so there was building up like, oh, he's the winner either way. And he had no involvement in the match whatsoever. So I was expecting like some sort of, he helps one of them win and ditches the other one as a manager. But there was nothing. I thought it was slow.
I mean, he cheers for Haku, doesn't he? He's well excited about Haku winning.
Yeah.
And Haku wins with that brilliant kick, man. I love
it. Was a good
He's
kick.
another person I'd love to see in a game. I'd love to play Haku. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had a great, in Menga's, in WCW, he had a great flipping run. I love Haku. I think he's a brilliant athlete, and I like his later career more than I like this stage of his career. But yeah, he smashed that kick, and it was decent.
I just thought the whole match was lethargic. It was a straight finish, which I appreciate.
Which is odd for this period of time. You expected, manager interference or some kind of ridiculous count out finish or whatever. But it was all right.
There was a really slow pile driver as well at one point from Harley Race to Haku. It just for me the whole match felt lethargic. I mean, I was nearly falling asleep.
I think it was slow.
Yeah. So next up we had some more interviews from participants of the Rumble.
Yeah, Beefcakes was terrible.
It was weird, wasn't it, man?
That guy just couldn't cut a promo, man.
Who did it remind you of?
Cringeworthy. You.
No, James Ellsworth, man. I've got these two fists. Any man with two fists.
But that's catchy though.
Any
man with two fists has a fighting chance. That's a true story, James Ellsworth.
Yeah, okay.
True story. He inspires millions. He inspires millions of people every week.
Didn't work very well for James Ellsworth,
and his sweet.
Saying that, he's got a contract for WWF now, or WWE, so he hasn't done too bad, has he?
I wonder how long that runs for. If he's in the game, if he's in 2K18, which we're going to do some stuff on the podcast for. Hopefully, I'm gonna be so happy.
He hasn't been announced for the game yet, but he'd probably be DLC.
If he's in it,
yeah, it'd be good. We can download him, and
if he's in it,
with stats of 32.
My thrash year.
Good.
Thrash year is Ellsworth. You can be Brock Lesnar. This is a promise. It's a promise I'm gonna make right now. All right, if Ellsworth's on that game, somehow, some way, I'm gonna beat Alf. As Brock Lesnar.
Very good.
As James Ellsworth.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, we've got to do it before like January or something, but we've got to do it.
Sounds good. Next, we had Greg Valentine promo, which looked like he was going to fall asleep a bit, I thought.
He's better, though. He's
better
than Beefcake.
Yeah, it was. It was very similar. It was, I'm going to use my hands and not just a weapon. I'm going to use... I'm called Hammer because of these two hammers. Yeah.
What would you call your fists, if you could call them anything?
If I could call them, I'd... What's which is a wrestler that's got pink... is it Tyler Bate?
Oh, yeah.
He's got... Is it Pinky and Perky or something like that?
Something like that. I don't think it is that.
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Bop and Bang or
Bop and Bang, yeah. Great, his fist's great. I thought it was just exactly almost the same promo as Beefcake. It was slightly better done, I suppose. Powers of Pain with Fuji, still building up to Demolition that we never get to see.
Yep.
John Studd has a promo. He's back in the ring with 2 years of training. I don't know exactly why he was off, actually.
No, I can't remember.
Look into that.
But it was the best promo of a Bad Bunch.
Yeah, I think it got better from this point. Then we had $1 Million Man, who was a lot happier than Ellie. I thought he did a great job, as always. Mm-hmm. Then we had Bobby the Brain Heenan with his family. So we had Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and Andre the Giant. Great promo by all of them. I thought... Because, like I say, I watched these pay-per-views sort of a year ago, and I never really noticed the Brain Busters as much. But looking into it, they were really good actually in the ring and really solid in the ring. Good at telling stories in the ring as well. I think, which we saw a bit of in the Rumble. Hulk Hogan promo then. So if Bossman gets in his way, I'll press him out of my way. And then there was a question
with the 24-inch pythons.
Yeah, probably. And then
not nearly as big as yours, man.
No,
not nearly
thanks,
as big
man.
as yours, to be fair.
Thanks.
It's like touching you.
Thanks, man.
It's like slapping your bum, touching your arms.
I think I got written down. I think before Hulk Hogan there was a Macho Man promo, wasn't there?
There was.
Oh yeah. And then he said there was a question about if Hogan was to end up in the ring with Macho, and he said, although he's my friend, we'll see who the real champion is, and the Hulkamaniacs know that the champion's me. So again, building up that tension. What if they were left in the ring together? So the Royal Rumble, this is the very first Royal Rumble to feature 30 men. Which I think is a great number for the Rumble, much better than the 20 that we had last Rumble. And this is a much better Rumble than the last one, isn't it? There's a lot of stories going on in.
Yeah, less opportunity for surprises or things like that, or just opportunities for rivalries to progress when there's fewer people in there.
Yeah.
It's the one time when that amount of people is acceptable in the ring, I feel. The only time during any year of any time of any wrestling event
because they give 2 minutes for each entrance to come in. There's a small story that can be told within each of them 2 minutes, and larger stories that can be told, and things that can come out, things that can happen, and that's why I love a Rumble. I've always liked a Rumble. We like to on this podcast talk about.
Excuse my beep.
That's all right.
I like to beep at you. I'm just gonna turn my volume down. There we go.
We like on this podcast to talk about people that we've not talked about before and go into a little bit of the history of them. And we've both got somebody from this Rumble, so we'll talk about them first before that we get to the Rumble to not break that up too much.
You going first?
So I'll go first. Ronnie Garvin. Or Ron Garvin, had been a part of ICW wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions and NWA, where he'd had both success as a singles wrestler and as a tag team wrestler, feuding with the likes of Randy Savage, Andre the Giant and Ric Flair. So it was a pretty big deal before he came into the WWF. He actually took part in the Atlanta Street Fight at Starrcade 1985, where he teamed with Jimmy Valiant against the Midnight Express. And in this match, he wrestled in drag as Miss Atlanta Lively. We'll have to. I want to go back and watch some of the WCW stuff. Actually, if we end up doing this longer, we might end up looking at some of the WCW forever. It never ends. It is
together forever. I'll be touching your bum forever.
That was really weird, man. If someone's like listening to this, trying to go to sleep, and they hear you whispering, "I want to touch your bum forever."
Hey man, there's worse things I could say to you.
There is worse things you could say. So then, later on in his career, he had a storyline retirement with Greg Valentine.
I'm just trying to imagine someone listening to our voices while they go to sleep. Like, do you think that'll happen?
I do.
You listen to our voices?
No, I don't.
I was about to say that's really sweet.
No, I don't, no.
Do you listen to my voice?
No.
Have you ever, gone to sleep to a voicemail I've left you?
No, what? You don't leave me voicemails.
I'm going to start.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to say in these voicemails?
It's really soothing. I'm going to touch your bum forever.
That's really creepy, man. That's great. That's weird.
Anyway,
like it.
Carry on.
So Ronnie Garvin was in a storyline retirement from Greg Valentine. That then pushed him into being a referee. However, he was a physical referee, which I think we'll be covering very soon because it sort of happens in the WWF. I'm not sure how much it plays out in the pay-per-views or not, but we'll see. And he's also a licensed pilot in real life and owns several car dealerships now. So, yeah,
doing all right for himself.
He's doing all right, yeah.
Congratulations.
Good work.
In case you're watching. Hopefully you are.
So who have you got to talk about?
Well, I was just going to say, this is anybody that watches us and buys our merch, I'll leave you nice voicemails too.
Are you just offering to call people up now?
Well,
Are you pimping yourself?
Yeah, but
right
leave
now?
nice voicemails.
What type of... Leave it... Show me a nice voicemail.
I want to touch your bum forever.
That's not a nice voicemail, man.
That'd be nice to some people.
Alright, okay.
You might not just appreciate mine.
Let us know if you want Dom to whisper, I want to touch your bum forever.
Anyway, moving on. Keep it professional.
Let's talk about... Yeah, let's keep it professional. Let's talk about the Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers. Well, personally, a little bit of a personal thing. I loved them. I thought they were one of my favourite tag team Don't you roll your eyes at me?
I might have rolled my eyes
Why?
a little bit because they were a bit of a throwaway tag team.
Shut up, man.
They were. They didn't do out.
Look, I'll lick your fucking forehead, right? I will. I'll lick your forehead and your cheek. We'll do
You're going
this.
to touch my bum forever and lick my forehead.
That's
on
what
your
the
cheek.
Bushwhackers did.
I know they did. I know where you're going.
Bobby Heenan touched Rick Rude. You remind me of Rick Rude, and also,
Yeah, you remind me of a bushwhacker. Congratulations.
Well, that's fine. I like that. I am a bushwhacker. I will whack all the bushes.
Oh no, man! You're licking my forehead. You're licking my salty forehead. You're carrying on. What you're mental. And you know, whenever the bushwhackers were doing that, I was always like, "Oh man, I would never let them lick my child." Because he used to come licking kids.
Yeah, they used to lick kids, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird thing to say.
I know, man. That is a
but
weird thing
it's
to say.
innocent when in that time, because obviously, you know, it was the nice people, the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, so was Jimmy Savile, and so.
Oh my God! Why are we bringing that up? We don't need to bring that shit up right now. This is a wholesome podcast. We don't do anything inappropriate on here.
we don't. But anyway, go on.
The Bushwhackers were a nice whole tag team. They did the thing and they licked it. It was nice.
Did you want the Bushwhackers to lick you?
You've ruined my childhood. The Bushwhackers were lovely. Anyway, you knobhead.
Okay.
I'll lick you again.
Well, fine. I'm sure it's worse for your tongue than it is for my head.
Yeah, it was all right, you know. I mean, can you imagine all the things that the Bushwhackers licked?
I know, man.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you'd go to if I took my child to a WWE show at the time, I would have sprayed my child with like fly spray or something. They'd lick him and just like
do your Jim Duggan a bit.
Yeah, turn him into.
I think they did do that. I think that was it. They had the caps and they were like.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the Bushwhackers. I respect you, 2015 Hall of Famers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's bad news, man. And who's not in the Hall of Fame?
Steiner Brothers aren't in
the
the Hall of Fame. The Rockers. Yeah,
the Hart Foundation.
So if you watched, and you should watch the heel podcast that Anth and his brother Stu did, he mentions the Bushwhackers in their previous guise of the Sheep Herders. So in WWF. They had a lot of high-profile feuds through the 90s with great tag teams like the Headshrinkers, Heavenly Bodies, and they were tag team champions for a little while as well. I love their battering ram finishing maneuver. Again, very silly. You're right, but also fun. A fun tag team.
I just think
of two good, hard-working wrestlers that they were given a gimmick. The licking of the foreheads was told them they didn't want to. The sheep herders, they didn't lick any foreheads, right? They were told
they didn't. They broke open foreheads.
They were told to do that stuff by Vinnie Mac.
Yeah,
Vince McMahon.
That doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
Yeah, but right, okay, all right. If Vince McMahon gave us a job as commentators and said, right, Anthony, lick Dom's forehead. Dom, lick Anthony's armpit. Right? Would you say no? You know what? I don't think I would say no because I'd like my job. And you know what? I wouldn't like licking your armpit, but you know what? Some people have to do stuff they don't like. But wait a minute. Think about the opportunities it could oil up. Think about the opportunities it could open. Look at the Red Rooster. You know?
Oh, I mean, yeah,
Look
great.
at the Red Rooster. Look at his. He had the Red Rooster gimmick, and now he's working in NXT.
Yeah, but he was such a talented worker.
Well, we're talented people. We're talented workers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying about the sheep herders is they were so brutal. They were like ushering in an attitude era well before in the independent scene. Before they came into WWF, yeah, the matches, if you will go back and watch one of the sheep herder matches, it is far better than anything that the Bushwhackers ever did in the WWF.
I mean, we're going off topic here, but if you look at guys like Tommy Dreamer, right? They were massively watered down when they were brought into WWE.
Yeah, I agree.
And look at Tommy Dreamer's like a trainer.
But I don't think they should have been watered down in the WWE.
I think he's a trainer now, isn't he? He does some training.
Yes.
Opportunities happen when you make necessary compromise. I'm not saying you should compromise on your dreams, everybody. I'm not saying you should stop licking foreheads if you want to lick foreheads, or stop splitting foreheads open if you want to split foreheads open.
Inspirational.
But what I'm saying is that sometimes people do shit to open up opportunities, and the Bushwhackers were given a gimmick, and you can't say that for their 36 years together they did not run with that gimmick, or
yeah, the run with the gimmick, but at the time you had so many good face tag teams. Mm-hmm. You had the Hart Foundation, you had the Rockers, you had Demolition, all of these face tag teams, the Bushwhackers, because the face tag team division was so stacked, ended up just being on the sort of lower card of the tag team.
I know they had their moments as tag
I just think if they'd been heels and come in as the sheep herders, they could have been number one contenders for the tag team belt.
Just a couple of extra points then.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, did you know that they were brought into ECW in 1998 as cousins for the Dudley Boys, as Luke and Butch Dudley?
I did not know that.
That was a thing. Okay. They also made their last wrestling appearance together in 2001 as part of the gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17. Now, like you say, two hard workers. Should they have stayed? I would have loved to see them stay as the sheep herders, but they ran with that Bushwhacker gimmick and made them and licked themselves into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Bushwhackers. We appreciate you, or at least I appreciate
the work.
You.
I just appreciate the work prior to WWF more.
Now you see, we have a similar kind of closeness. You know, why is it such a problem for me to lick your forehead?
Yeah, but it's not about me licking my forehead. It's about licking random kids' foreheads.
That is weird.
That's the difference.
Yeah, so, anyway, let's move on. Yep.
So, let's go into the match, shall we? So, first up, we have the first competitor into the Rumble, which is Axe of Demolition.
How does the theme song go again?
Here comes the Axe,
and here comes the Smasher.
Welcome to that. Love the 80s theme music,
yeah,
man.
We were singing that to ourselves.
Oh, we always sing it. So his music plays, he goes into the ring. Then the music starts playing again, and we get smashed.
Completely randomly chosen. Don't forget, completely randomly chosen.
Yeah, but I quite like this. I like the idea of two tag teams being in at the beginning, and I like the fact that they didn't mess about. They just got on with each other, started attacking each other. Axe had the upper hand at one point. Smash had the upper hand at one point. Both of them looked as strong as each other. And I like that as an opening for the Rumble, especially in this early day where we haven't sort of seen that yet. The idea that this tag team are now, because it's all every man for themselves, and it's repeated, isn't it, all the time? Tag teams going against each other in Rumbles. The one that springs to mind for me because of childhood sort of memories is the Typhoon and Earthquake when they're in the Rumble and they go against each other. And you feel like,
which we should do in 2K.
We will do, but it feels like the ring could collapse with these two guys going at each other. I enjoyed that. The third entrance was Andre the Giant, so we have a real threat to the Rumble. Being told that we've been told a few times in the night that he's the favourite to win the Rumble, and obviously Axe and Smash work together to try and take down Andre, and they do actually take down Andre straight away with a big double clothesline, which felt powerful. Sold Axe and Smash really well. There's not a lot of people that can take down Andre. So they're sort of carried on. And obviously with Andre, I think at this point he went very well. We've talked about that a few times on the podcast. It's a lot of sort of laying in the corner and letting people work around him, I suppose. Next up, we had Mr. Perfect, who started working on everyone. Didn't just go for Andre, started to work on everyone. And then Andre eliminates Smash, which is a first elimination of the night. Perfect and Axe attacks Andre together. Perfect sold a really good... Perfect was good at selling again. I love anyone that can sell a move is great, in my opinion. Yep. He sold one of Andre's headbutts and he sort of headbutted him and he completely went off his feet to sell it, Really nice little moment.
He was always great at that.
He was. Next in, we had Rockin' Ronnie Garvin. Again, they all attack Andre and then occasionally going after each other. Not much different in the match. It's all about selling how Andre is the main threat in the ring. There was a good moment, though, where Axe ends up sat underneath Andre. And then
Andre's like a stink face in the corner.
Yeah, but it was great that Axe was using it, doing his hand. He did a really comic thing with his hands. I just thought it was really good. But he was talking about Andre sitting on people, wasn't he?
Yeah, the joke, that he used to do it to joke with fellow wrestlers because he had quite a distinct smell because obviously he's so big he couldn't necessarily shower quite as well as the other guys. And
not also, in the small hotel rooms.
And also, so he used to do that to have a little laugh with the competitors. So I can't imagine Axe had I can't imagine.
No, not had a great time.
I can't imagine it was a great time.
I bet Rikishi had a. I can't imagine that would have been fun.
Well, no, I'm sure it would have been fun, but at least he would have washed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
At least he would have done backsack and crack. Whereas Andre, I mean, maybe he gets in a sink and just dabs himself down, freshens himself up.
Dabs.
But I miss that.
That's what kids do these days.
I miss that completely.
It's a thing called a dab, man.
What is it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. TJ Perkins does it.
Where does it come from? Where's the dab come from, guys? Gayers. That's you guys. Yeah, our loyal 3 fans. Thank you for being there for us. What is a dab?
What is a dab? Next up, we have Greg the Hammer Valentine coming to the ring. So it was 4 against Andre then. I was quite surprised, actually, that Hammer helped Andre. Sort of expecting him to go against the other guys and help Andre. But no, it went against Andre. Andre then gets Ronnie Garvin out. Jake the Snake comes in and goes after Andre straight away. The crowd were hot for this moment.
Yeah, I love that, yeah.
Everyone loved Jake the Snake. His feud had been building with Andre from the Survivor Series.
That was my highlight because again, I'm such a fan of Jake the Snake, and it was a real highlight. I had really high hopes for Jake, but obviously, it didn't do so well.
Well, no, he got sort of attacked straight away.
I'm going to watch more of these matches because it's such a mismatch in size.
What, Jake and Andre?
Yeah,
anyone and Andre.
You wouldn't think it would be a great feud, but I mean, it was more of a psychological thing. I think in the end,
it was more character.
That's why it gets such a popular feud to look back on.
I think, and I'm going to say something that might be a bit shocking. I think because Andre wasn't very well, they put him to work with Jake as opposed to someone like Macho, because I think him and Macho in Andre's early days would have been incredible. I think they put him to work with Jake because they knew that it would help put over Jake's cleverness. Yeah. And sort of psychological ring work as opposed to necessarily having to work with someone. Which is probably why they put him with Jake. And then they saw the story of Jake being Andre being afraid of snakes, So yeah, the storyline up to this point is all about who can get Andre out. So Shawn Michaels comes in next, number 9, one of the Rockers, and there was screams from the ladies. I noticed at this point, I think the women loved Shawn Michaels as they did for a long time, and he got taken out straight away by Ron Bass, who entered before Shawn Michaels.
Wait,
go on.
Ron Bass. I love it.
Did you notice he had a bald head?
Yeah,
that was because of Brutus.
Why does Gorilla call him Brutai?
I don't know, man.
All the time.
Brutai sounds like Roman, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like Brutai. Brutai hits and it's like, what is Brutus, mate? What are you doing? What are you doing, brother?
I don't know.
What are you doing? Legendary performer and commentator, but
Yeah, one nice moment in the ring was when Andre was choking out Jake the Snake, like big time on the ropes, because he sort of had the full advantage over Jake, I think, when you come in. And Greg the Hammer Valentine kept coming up with double axe handles, and it sort of had no effect on Andre. And I thought that looked really good, actually.
I'm being immature.
Why? Go on.
Choking Jake's snake. Carry on.
Got it. So then Andre eliminates Jake the Snake. So again, who can get out Andre? I've already done that. Mr. Perfect eliminates Axe.
He has a good showing.
Mr. Perfect did, yeah. He
him alongside the Rockers, actually, especially Shawn Michaels. Really good showing.
Yep. Michael goes over the top rope from Perfect, but pulls himself back in. So we see that nice. It reminds me of the what Rumble is it? The 94 Royal Rumble, 92 Royal? No, 91. No, 94.
You sure?
Something.
You
I don't know.
Okay.
It's the one where the double where we don't know if Shawn Michaels' both feet touch the floor. Okay. Yeah, it just reminded me of that, and it was nice to see Michaels so nimble around the ring. I thought Michaels had a great showing at this Rumble, actually.
Yep.
And I'm not always going to say that about Michaels. It seems obvious, but no, I thought this one he did. Bushwhacker Butch comes in at number 10. And when Bushwhacker Butch comes in, Jake the Snake comes back.
Yeah.
And what's he got in his hand?
Breaks out his snake.
He breaks out his snake. How does he break out his snake?
Just throws it in the ring.
And what does Andre do when he sees Andre's snake?
Freaks the fuck out, gets the hell out of there.
What would you do if you saw Jake's snake?
I would freak out and get the hell out of there, man. I am not looking forward to if I'm doing traveling in, like, I went to Africa a couple of years ago, and every time I went for a pee, because I was in like the desert, like there was no toilets. Obviously, you're in the desert, and I'm freaking out every time because you go behind a rock to pee, and they're there.
Right.
You know they're about.
I can
But
imagine
you don't know
but-
where, and you're thinking, if I get my winky out and have a wee, what happens if you just, you know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah.
If they grab your winky like Macho Man's arm.
Can't snakes. What are you guys? I'm interested in what you guys are afraid of. Can you leave that in the comments, please, for us? If you watched to this far, which hopefully you will, I want to know what you're afraid of. What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of you calling me and whispering, I want to touch your bum forever. Right, so next up we have Honky Tonk Man, who comes down to a chorus of boos straight away. Anytime that Honky is nearly eliminated throughout the match, the crowd are cheering, which is good work by Honky, really, to be such a despised heel.
Yeah.
Michaels and Perfect are Irish whipped into each other straight in the middle of the ring. That looked great. There was a couple of really nice little stories going on, and there was nice ring action. I enjoyed especially this part of the Rumble. Next up, we had Tito Santana come in. Ron Bass at one point went for a pin on Tito. Did someone not explain the rules to Ron Bass?
Ron Bass just didn't get it.
Silly man. Shawn Michaels goes over from a big backdrop from Greg, which looked absolutely great. Some wonderful height on it. Bad News Brown is next up, 13. You like Bad News Brown, don't you?
Do, massive fan. Ghetto Blaster, great finisher. Just a great heel.
Actually. We don't see a Ghetto Blaster in this. I like a Rumble where we see a few more finishers, actually. Don't get to see enough of them. Honky Tonk Man is eliminated by Butch and Tito Santana. There was so much attention on Shawn Michaels in this Rumble.
Yeah. And then again, early indication of how great he was going to be, I think.
Yeah, probably. Next up, we have Marty Jannetty entering the ring and starts double teaming Ron Bass with Shawn with a double drop kick. Ron Bass is eliminated. 15 comes in, which is Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Doesn't even take his sunglasses off. Love that. Comes in with his headscarf and his sunglasses. Just starts attacking people straight away. And the thing that's great about Macho is when he's in the ring, the energy just picks up, doesn't it? Yeah, which we've talked about over and over again. So we won't carry on.
Huge.
16.
Energy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. 16 is Arn Anderson. Macho flings Greg Hammer over the top rope.
Excuse me, I'm not yawning because I am bored of you, because obviously, you know, I like you and your bum and your arms. I'm not yawning because of Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm yawning because I'm not getting any sleep at the moment, because I dream about this podcast all the time. I do. I dream about coming and like just giving you friendly bum pats and things.
Lovely.
And saying, like, you know, getting half naked and posing.
That's never happened before and might not happen again, depending on the subscriber rate. Indeed, how many subscribers we drop.
Yeah, if you want to see more hairy, sweaty people, subscribe or don't.
Macho Man and Arn Anderson double team to get Shawn Michaels out of the ring. Next in, we have Tully Blanchard. So we've got both of the Brainbusters in the ring, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. These two did some great work in the ring in this match. They immediately went after Bushwhacker Butch. Perfect had been in the ring for a long time at this point. A very long time. Arn and Tully take out Jannetty. Poor Jannetty didn't get to see as much. Hulk Hogan is in at 18, who straight away goes into the ring and throws out Mr. Perfect, which was sad to see, actually. Sad. I enjoyed Perfect in the ring.
He was perfect.
He was absolutely perfect. He had the longest time in the Rumble at this point, and the record that he set that night was 27 minutes and 58 seconds.
Good lad. He actually, like I said yesterday, his one of his other great moments in his career was his return to WWE in the 2002, I believe it was. I know we've used it in a previous podcast, Royal Rumble, which enabled him to have a small return for a few months in 2002. He was one of the final 5 or 4 members of the ring in the ring that year, and it earned him another WWF/E contract.
Well, we'll look forward to getting to that.
In a billion years' time.
The Brainbusters get headbutted together by Hulk. It's a comedy move, isn't it? Looks alright. Tito Santana was eliminated. Bad News and Hulk are going at it. At the last pay-per-view, we saw that Bad News wanted to go after Savage, didn't he? And obviously that included Hulk as well.
Yeah, it didn't really materialise for him, unfortunately.
It might have done on main event. I didn't really look at that, but it probably did over TV as opposed to pay-per-views. You got to remember the pay-per-views that we're watching are sort of 3 months apart.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the next into the ring is Bushwhacker Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Bushwhacker Luke gets in there, Bad News eliminates Bushwhacker Butch.
Sad times.
Sad times. They didn't lick anyone on the way to the ring. I'm sorry about that. Hulk and Randy tried to double team Bad News. I was quite surprised that he didn't go out at that point. I thought that would have been a good point for him to go out, but he didn't. Hulk presses Tully Blanchard directly onto the top rope. I don't know if he was supposed to get him over, but he lifted him above his head and dropped him on the rope.
Yeah.
It looked quite painful. Coco Beware. You love a bit of Coco Beware. He enters in at number 20. At that point, Arn Anderson is slammed off the top rope from Hulk, and then Hulk eliminates Coco. Not a great showing for Coco in this Rumble, was it?
No, sadly.
Poor Coco. And then Hulk eliminates Bushwhacker Luke, and then Hulk eliminates both the Brainbusters. Was like a double clothesline, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was a nice spot actually, because they
Hulk dominated.
Basically, just pushed him over with his arms, with his pythons.
I would have liked to have seen more of Hulk and Macho working together in this match, because I think that would have made the conclusion of what happened more dramatic, I think. So Warlord Power of Pain is the 21st into the Rumble, eliminated straight away, holds the record for the shortest time for the Rumble, which lasts until Santino Marella is in the ring.
Santino, is he still the record holder for shortest time?
Probably.
I'm sure.
I think it's like 2 seconds in it. You can't really beat that.
Yeah.
And then, so next up we have Hogan, who goes to eliminate Bad News Brown. However, Bad News Brown is holding on to Macho Man, and basically they both get eliminated at the same time. Yeah. At this point, it's only Hogan left in the ring, and Macho jumps into the ring and starts getting into his face straight away, don't he?
Yeah,
and it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and we can see the breakup of the Mega Powers, which is
imminent.
We've said all the time at these pay-per-views, it's been hinted at.
Elizabeth comes down.
Elizabeth gets straight in the ring straight away, gets between them, doesn't she? Which was great, which was such a good build-up, because obviously the next pay-per-view that we're reviewing is WrestleMania 5, when these two have a blow-off, and so this was again another part of the people say that this was the first part of the breakup. I'd say there's been so many hints already in just the pay-per-views we've watched of a breakup already, hasn't there? From the moment they got together, it was always tense between the two of them, I think. On the February the 3rd episode of Main Event, the Mega Powers versus the Twin Towers, Akeem threw Macho Man onto Elizabeth, and then instead of coming to the aid of Macho, Hulk goes to look after Elizabeth and carries her off into the back, which is sort of the last straw. So that's only sort of a couple of weeks away from this event. So we can sort of, I just wanted to mention that so we sort of see the link between, and we'll talk about it more, I'm sure, in the next episode when we look at the actual match between the Mega Powers at WrestleMania. But then Macho did shake Hogan's hand. Yeah. So there's still the Mega Powers for now. We'll forgive you for now.
Again, that's kind of hinting, isn't it? It's that kind of, well, they won't they kind of
tension,
thing, tension, which is really nice.
Yeah, really nice. So next up we have Big Boss Man at 22, who gets a body slam from Hogan. I think the crowd were really excited to see Bossman and Hogan. They'd been feuding with the Twin Towers quite a lot as the Mega Powers. And it was a good moment in the Rumble. Everyone got excited. Bossman, he was good, wasn't he? It was okay in the ring. It's winter and we're not feeling very well. There was a nice pile driver from Bossman to Hogan, actually.
Pile drivers are never nice, man, but it was a good looking thing.
It was a good looking pile driver. I enjoy a pile driver. I think it looks devastating. And then next up, we have the second member of the Twin Towers, Akeem, joining. So Hulk's outnumbered by Akeem and Bossman, who has been feuding with a lot. And then Hulk is eliminated by the Twin Towers. And instead of playing fair and going home, Hulk drags Big Boss Man over the top rope.
Because it's okay if you're a face.
It's okay if you're a face to break the rules. So then they're all sort of fighting on the outside. Akeem ended up on the outside, but it wasn't over the top rope. It was through the middle or bottom. I didn't actually see. But he wasn't eliminated. Then Brutus comes in at number 24 and goes over and straight away helps Hulk Hogan, which is quite important because we're after the Mega Powers. And part of the Mega Power breakup actually includes Brutus in that, and Brutus is a friend of Hulk Hogan. We were good friends in real life, Brutus and Hulk, and that's how he'd got into WCW. in the NWA was partly because of Hulk Hogan and a real life friendship. So Boss Man and Hulk Hogan exit the ramp, continuing to fight. We saw a flight case being thrown on Boss Man at one point and stuff like that, a small suitcase.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm not like a massive fan for Hogan. When he was in the ring, it was a lot more exciting, actually, this Rumble. I thought he did some good work in this Rumble. I enjoyed it. And I think that the latter half of this match that we're talking about now slowed down a lot compared to what happened at the start of the Rumble and in the midway of the Rumble. So next up we had the Red Rooster. Great gimmick. Who attacks
We
Akeem.
love that gimmick. We love that gimmick.
Love it. Who attacks Akeem, but Brutus and Akeem are still going at it. Lots of double teaming from Brutus and Red Rooster on a team. Look good. Again, bunch of what is his name? Teddy. I forget his name. Red Rooster.
Yeah.
He looks amazing in the ring. He'd look amazing. I don't know why the hell he got that awful gimmick. 26, the Barbarian comes in and just attacks everyone. 27, Big John Studd comes in and throws the Rooster after Akeem. Throws the Rooster off of Akeem and goes straight away for Akeem. So we see the two giants going at it. 28, Hercules comes in. Look at Herc go to work, but it's what Gorilla says. But I don't think
that was nice. Yeah, that was.
It wasn't me.
Pretty funny.
It was Gorilla. It was Gorilla. But he didn't really do much in the ring. Really,
I like Hercules' face. I like face Hercules.
You like a lot of faces. Could have. I think he could have done some. Like if they had Jannetty in the ring at this point or something like that, the action would have been a lot better. I think. There just wasn't anyone that really did much. Rick Martel comes in and nothing changes at all. Ted DiBiase comes in at 30, so we've had this whole storyline all the way through the night of Ted DiBiase. How has he got the later number? He's come in at number 30. And he has Virgil at ringside as well, which we'll find out why later on. Terry Taylor, that's the name of the Red Rooster, was thrown over the rope from a big whip from DiBiase. That looked good. Big whip. Big Irish whip. Like Bianca Belair with her whip.
Yeah, man.
I am so hot for Bianca Belair right now.
Stuff we say on this podcast.
No, I'm not that attracted to her, but I just think that the whip gimmick with her hair is
I like
incredible.
to whip me with her hair.
I'm not that into that, but she...
You're not that into that.
No,
You're not
okay.
saying you're not into it.
So Ted DiBiase goes...
You're avoiding now. Yes, Bianca Belair with her hair gimmick is great.
She's great.
Now we can move on.
Thank you. Ted DiBiase goes straight after Hercules. Hercules was his slave after he bought him from Bobby the Brain Heenan, and then that was
something
what
ridiculous.
turned Hercules
and there was a
into...
comment about him taking like 75% of their wages or something.
Yeah. How much better would it have been, right? Instead of having Akeem in the ring, because Akeem was in the ring for a long time, eliminated a lot of people, was seen as a threat. How much better? Because they never reference, not once, that One Man Gang won the first Royal Rumble.
Nope.
Because that's not recognised.
Nope.
But how much better would it have been for Akeem to have been One Man Gang and not some really bad Dusty Rhodes rip-off?
Yep.
And for them to acknowledge the fact that he had won the first Rumble, and he was, I think in the first Rumble, wasn't he the last to be thrown out by Hacksaw? So why not acknowledge that? Instead they'd sort of change his character, so this massive threat who had done so well in the first two Rumbles was just a Dusty Rhodes rip-off. It was weird.
Yeah, that we talked about that, didn't we? It was really annoying.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the day. I'm pretty sure that was it, wasn't it? There was a lot of bad blood between McMahon and the Rhodes.
Rhodes was sort of popular in the other rings at the time, but the thing is, Dusty Rhodes come into the WWF in a couple of pay-per-views time. So maybe the long-term plan was to have him as more of a Dusty Rhodes character, and but then when you've got Dusty Rhodes in the WWF, there's no need for that anymore, is there?
There's a need for One Man Gang.
There was always a need for One Man Gang, exactly. Just frustrated me, especially with the history of him as a wrestler. Hercules and Barber are eliminated by DiBiase and the Barbarian, both together. Rick Martel eliminated the Barbarian. Akeem takes out Martel, leaving $1 Million Man, Big John Studd, and Akeem. They're both attacking Big John Studd at this time. Dibase is telling Akeem what to do in the ring. That was some really nice character stuff. So when he was in the corner, he was pointing to him, "You go attack him now," type thing. Big John pulls Dibase into him as Akeem does an avalanche. So when Akeem goes to apologise to Dibase, he gets thrown out by Big John Studd. Big John Studd dominates the cowardly $1 Million Man. $1 Million Man, incredible at selling.
Yep.
Looks great in the ring.
Nice end.
And then winner. Well, it's not an end because it's the winner of Big John Studd.
Well, what else were they going to do? It was either two of them, wasn't it? And $1 Million Man, he had that kind of ability he didn't really need, which is really sad because I honestly think he would have been a great WWE champion. But
what else could they have done? Right, here we go.
What else could they have done?
Andre eliminated.
Virgil could have come in.
Yeah, Andre eliminated by Jake. Hogan.
How exactly is Jake
with the snake? In the same way, right? So that would have been better. The Hogan Macho Man.
Have Jake go on to win or something?
Yeah. No, I'm on about have Andre come in later into the Rumble. Okay. And have Jake win the Rumble. Okay. I think that would have went down well. Okay. I think the Hogan winning would have been fine with him at the... you either do it as the last moment where he gets the two people out like they did, or you just have him versus Macho in the ring. And you have Elizabeth come down and get involved or something like that. Yep. I think there was I think there were better winners for the Rumble than Big John Studd. Big John Studd was sort of he was coming back after 2 years of not being in the ring, so that was a plus. But I don't think there was any need for him to win it, storyline wise. Okay. Hell, even Axe and Smash winning it would have been Powers of Pain to me. Better. Would have been a better storyline than. Yep. With Fuji getting involved or something like that. Yep. Yeah. So then Virgil attacks him from behind. Probably wanted to get into a photo. Get some
meat sauce, whatever, from Olive Garden. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was manhandled by Big John.
I spend far too much time since we started this podcast looking at Lonely Virgil videos. Like 20 minutes today, guys. I've got a problem. I've got a problem. Like seriously, someone help me.
There we go. So. That was the pay-per-view of the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble was way better than any other Royal we've seen. I think the last 10 men sort of were a bit drab, but the first half of the Rumble was certainly great stories being told in the ring. So best match of the night? So we got the tag team... Rumble, yeah, I'd say the Rumble again. If you were to watch one match, watch the Rumble.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of choice.
No, there wasn't a lot of choice. So you certainly wouldn't say the
best moment of the Rumble then.
Best moment of the Rumble, easily the Macho Man and Hogan for me.
Yep, or the snake coming back into the thing. But I just found myself worrying, even though I hate snakes and I wish that they didn't exist on the planet. I found myself worrying every time that poor snake.
Yeah, I know.
Just getting thrown in there, run around. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway,
I think my only problem with the snake moment is the fact that it was Jake. After being eliminated, coming back into the ring, I would have liked to have found a way
during the match.
Yeah, for Jake to have got his snake, maybe just hid it in his pants or something.
Lovely.
And on that note, what was your K-Star rating? Yeah,
K-Star rating 2.
Yeah, 2 for me as well. Yeah. So cool. Thank you very much for joining us on the Gimme a Whole Year podcast. Please like, comment if you're not already subscribe, and
for more or less nipples and hair and weird whispering.
And if you want Dom to ring you, just leave your number in the comments below. I'm sure that's the thing that people will be willing to do.
Probably entirely safe thing for you to do. Yep. And keep it gay. Thanks, guys.